I just wanted to do a quick video to follow up on my last Facebook post about creating and writing a life plan from the book I've been reading, Living Forward by Michael Hyatt. So the first thing I had to do in creating a life plan was to write my eulogy. Now, it's a eulogy for how you'd hope to be remembered. So not necessarily what it would sound like if it was written today, but how you would hope it would be read when the time came. So at your funeral, if the people most important to you were to stand up and say a few words, what would you hope they would say? And that was the goal in writing my eulogy. And if there's a gap between what you'd hope they would say versus current reality, how do you get there from where you are to where you want to be? This was hard to do for me because obviously there's some gaps there for priorities in my life. And these priorities are God, spiritual, number one. My wife, Pon, our kids, Levi and Emma, and then finally, family and friends. So what I wanted to do, I'm kind of going out on a limb here, but I wanted to just read to you what I wrote for my eulogy for what I'd hope people would say when I did pass. So here we go. Let's start off with God. So if God were to stand up and say a few words on my behalf. Andy was a man who followed Christ and was active in the church and gave generously. He volunteered his time and his resources. He knew it wasn't just about sitting in a pew on Sunday, writing a check, and then going back to business as usual during the week. He was accountable. He would raise his hands to say, "I could help." And he was there as an active participant. His goal, his aim, primary aim, was to hear those reassuring words, "Well done, thy good and faithful servant." Well done, Andy. Welcome to paradise. So that's the first. So if God were to stand up and read on my behalf, that's what I'd hope he'd read. Well, that's what I'd hope he'd say. Secondly, Pon, my wife. My husband, Andy, was the love of my life. He was caring. He was respectful. He was attentive. He was funny. When I was down and out, he'd always have a comforting word of encouragement. When things didn't go right, he didn't place blame, but rather wanted to find a solution together. He was a great example to our children for how a man should treat a woman. It was not always easy, as marriage never is, but through the struggles and the sacrifices, we built something great. Something we were proud of, and something that lasted a lifetime. Lastly, he was the greatest lover a woman could ever ask for. Why not, right? Sure. All right. Third, I hope she says that too, actually. So if you're watching, Levi and Emma, our children. Our dad was such a huge influence in our lives. When we were little, we loved him unconditionally. And even when we grew up and we knew better, we still had that unconditional love for him because of the way he treated us. Did he ever lose his temper or say or do things that he shouldn't? Sure. But he would always apologize and would ask, "How do I make it right?" He was good like that. He was present. He played with us and our friends. He was there for our games, our plays, our recitals. He volunteered to coach Little League. He volunteered at our school. We took awesome trips together. He taught us manners and what's important in life. He taught us to serve, the importance of community, respect, and yes ma'am and no ma'am. We could talk to him. He supported our dreams, and he was our biggest advocate to choose our own path in life. He was our biggest cheerleader, and we knew he was on our side. Our dad gave us a great example to follow, and we were so blessed and thankful that he was our daddy. That'd be great. And lastly, family and friends. Andy grew up knowing how important family and close friends were. It wasn't always easy, and he didn't always show it, but he loved his family and close friends deeply. His family and friends were his greatest influence in life, good and bad, and helped mold him into the person he became, good and bad. we knew that we could count on him. We knew that we could trust him. He cared about us and how we were doing. He would lend a hand, listen to our problems, and add value when and wherever he could. He was a positive influence in our lives, and we are better people because we knew him. So that's it. That's what I got for my eulogy from the most important people and priorities accounts in my life. So now, and that's not reality. So some are, some aren't. I think my wife and I definitely have built something great, and our kids are great, but I can do better. There's things that I can work on spiritually, personally, professionally to help bridge those gaps. So I'm gonna just do a video series on, what those relationships should look like, or what I hope they would look like, and then just the specific commitments that I have to commit to in order to reach that goal. Now, I will say that I know it's not going to be easy, and I know there's going to be times I fall short, but as long as I have those commitments, and now that I got it all out in the world on social media, that's going to hold me even more accountable, which was part of the reason why I'm doing this. So it's a little unusual for me, and you may say, what's this guy talking about? Who is he? I'm not an expert or some life coach guru or any of that. But if any of this you think is helpful, take that, and whatever else to say, this guy's know what he's talking about, he's crazy. That's fine. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you in hopes that maybe it could add some value to you. And I look forward to seeing you on our next video.